So Dave Rubin was not exactly happy getting emails about Alexander Ocasio-Cortez. Now, for somebody who's supposed to be, of course, big on ideas and having conversations with people that he doesn't necessarily agree with, it appears that for some reason he wanted to be less left out of press releases when it comes to policy proposals introduced by progressives. Weird. Now, this led, of course, to a hilarious interaction between Rubin and AOC on Twitter. He tweeted this. Rubin did. Hi, AOC. Not sure who you bought my email from, but I assure you I didn't sign up for your mailing list. Also, you offer no way to unsubscribe. Please release me. Mm, mm. And of course, along with that tweet, he released a screenshot of an email he'd gotten from the press account. Now, of course, that goes to people who uh, are considered journalists and people who would cover these stories. Dave Rubin, apparently Dave Rubin, not gonna do anything, right? Not gonna talk about this. Not gonna discuss these big ideas. Apparently, her ideas are too big for Dave. Now, the email in question, by the way, is about a policy proposal that was part of the Green New Deal and really in deals with affordable housing. And she just released that with Bernie Sanders. So now that's something that, look, if you're a classical liberal like Dave, classical liberal, you might be interested in having one of your big brain discussion forums about. Bring somebody on, talk about the issues, even if, of course, you're only interested in trashing it and pointing out how flawed those ideas are. That's fine. That's fine. Let's see some real conservative critiques on why the Green New Deal would be a bad idea, why affordable housing is terrible, and why you want property level, property, I should say, values to continue being sky high in gentrifying neighborhoods. Because like Dave Rubin lives in L.A. and California, of course, has a huge problem with homeless people. Let's have Dave talk about that. I'm curious to see a right wing critique on this that is favorable to having lots and lots of homeless people. Okay, but anyway, instead, as you can see, Rubin not interested in having that discussion or even talking about that policy, and instead came at her on Twitter. And here's the thing that you don't do is come after AOC on Twitter. Unless, of course, you want to get served or dunked on, which is exactly what happened. In fact, here's her response. She responded by saying, "This is the official congressional press list, not a supporter mailing list. Our apologies, as someone must have mistaken you for a journalist. This will be fixed right away." Burn. Awesome. So look, is she right? Yeah, of course. Dave Rubin, not a journalist. And he actually says, well, I'm not a journalist. Yeah, okay. And we all knew that because in order to be a journalist, you actually have to push back when people peddle nonsense and say things that aren't remotely true. Has Dave Rubin ever done that in his life? Nope. Not at all. You also need to have integrity, something that Dave Rubin also appears to lack. Look, Anna Kasparian, Cenk Uygur, they kind of spilled the tea on that one, that Dave Rubin was only interested in money. He's only in it for the money. In fact, he wanted a 6-figure salary for doing 30 minutes of work each week. And I want to be a real-life Jedi with Force powers. It's not going to happen. Are you kidding? It's TYT we're talking about. They don't pay very well. I would know. Okay, so as soon as Rubin figured that, and by the way, progressives, the reason that progressives redo this is not because of the money. It's because we actually care about these issues. And so that's the big difference between conservatives and progressives, or at least a lot of conservative media. They're all about getting paid. And so, and maybe there's some principled conservatives out there, libertarians, etc., but they're few and far between. Most of that stuff's astroturfed by the Koch brothers. And so Rubin, he figured that out. And he's like, I want Koch brother money. He went to the proverbial dark side and changed himself to being a classical liberal. But of course, in reality, that doesn't mean anything. He's a conservative that happens to be gay, or at least acting like a conservative that happens to be gay. We don't know with Dave Rubin. Again, he's basically up for sale. And so because of that, he actually doesn't care that people like Don Jr. would call him a homophobic slur, which he recently said on his show. He's like, well, I don't care if you call me that. Oh, it doesn't matter to me. Okay. Hey, well, that's do you, man. As long as he gets those paychecks, I guess he's not going to care what people call him. Unless, of course, you're on the left and you call him a name. Well, then he seems to get all offended and blocks you on Twitter. What's that all about? Where's that open marketplace of ideas? Where's that discussion? Of course. He won't even debate Sam Cedar. Sad, baby. So now, just to show you how hard he got obliterated, her tweet had about 116,000 likes. Her response to him. His response, and let me be fair and show that response. He said, "It's true I'm not a journalist, nor have I ever pretended to be." That's fairly obvious. But truly, that was the most clever thing you've ever said. Dave, you should have just taken the L. Just take the L, be like, okay, you got me. Well done. But okay, whatever. His response got about 5,000 likes. Obliterated. Gone. In fact, some of the responses that were making fun of Dave Rubin in this were had even more positive response. In fact, Ken Klippenstam, who is a great reporter, he asked, be honest, Dave, do you like being humiliated? Hey, it's a fair question. Kenny Clips with the hard questions, right? And this is my favorite. Your reign in the top was short like leprechauns, tweeted. Dave Rubin swears he hates socialism, but on this evidence, it's clear he loves being publicly owned. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.